Hi everybody, welcome to my channel, Danielle Stilt Anything Goes. Today I am going to cook for you. I'm going to cook for you a recipe that I've made many times. It is called chicken pepperoni. First I start with some boneless skins of chicken breast, and I rinse them off. Now I usually get the thicker sliced ones, but it doesn't matter if they're thin or if they're thick. Once you rinse them off, pretty simple. This is a great recipe and my entire family eats it. I do try to do a lot of cooking, but usually it's a fail, so I'm just being honest. Alright, so what we're going to need is our chicken. You're going to need a few toothpicks, which I recommend that you take some out. Make sure you've already washed your hands, which I have done. You're going to need some mayonnaise. I'm using Miracle Whip because it has good flavor in it. Any type of shredded cheese you want. I prefer the blend, so it has mozzarella and cheddar and Colby Jack. And you need pepperoni, of course, and also you need some breadcrumbs. And finally, you're going to need some flour. Dun, da, da, da. Okay, so I actually try to make this really simple. I use a 9x13" pan, so you're going to want to be sure that you spray the pan first. And the nice thing about this is I'm making it in advance today. So when I come home, I can just put it right in the oven because I volunteer on certain days of the week at school. Make sure you have good knives, and I also use I use this cute little tool to help tenderize the meat. So you're going to need a plate for your flour. You're going to need a plate for your breadcrumbs. Okay, and it's actually really fun when the whole family does it together. So first you're going to want to slit open the side of the chicken so you have somewhere to actually stuff inside the pepperoni and the cheese. And kids like this dish because then they don't expect a surprise inside the chicken once they get it. And like I said, I usually use the thick breast, but sometimes I use thin. Today we're using thin. Cut all the way through them as far as you can. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. The toothpicks are going to hold it together, okay? And in case you're wondering, I'm a mom of two. And first thing I do, like I said, I've tried to cook a lot of dishes and I usually don't do very well at it. So the first thing you're going to do is pour out your flour onto, after you've cut it, onto a plate. And I just spread it out like that. I'm going to throw my chicken in it. And then I let the kids pound away at it to help tenderize it. Mine are already very thin, but just do that a few times and then it will come out even better and juicier. Okay, it may just like to play in the food. So, but then when it comes out and it's delicious, they actually will eat it because they helped participate in the meal. So then I just take the portion that I cut, open it up, and I'm simply going to put in a handful of cheese, as much as you want to stuff it with. Shredded cheese, and you know, I stuff it all the way along. Then I have someone in charge of the pepperoni. Today it's all me. And let's see, hold on. I don't think I opened this, I just bought it. And you can actually freeze this dish, which is really nice as well, because you know that we're busy moms and dads in the world and we don't always have time to make something so delicious at home. So it's nice to have. So then usually my child that likes the pepperoni is in charge of the pepperoni. And you just put a bunch of pepperonis over the cheese, put as many as you want. You can use no cheese and pepperoni, but I use a lot of pepperonis. Then they usually eat some. You're going to fold the meat back over top, and this is where your toothpicks come in handy. So you're just going to, and sometimes, because these are thin, I will fold the end over, which is okay. It's any way you want to do it, and that holds it in place. Now, I am going to tell you, I highly recommend that you use the same amount of toothpicks in every single piece. That way when you're serving it, you know how many come out of each piece. All right? Then it's simple. You simply take it to the next paper plate. So I'm going to switch here. And you're going to take your mayonnaise, Miracle Whip, whichever, we happen to like the taste and the zing of Miracle Whip. Yes, I'm putting Miracle Whip on chicken right now. That's what I said the first time I made it. I just use my fingers. I spread it all out. Now the reason that you're putting this on there, and you don't want to overcoat it or anything, the point is not to make it seem like it's mayonnaise. This is going to be what you use to stick the breadcrumbs to the chicken. And this recipe, my grandma, Gwen, she's passed, but she used to be in a home in Ohio, and it's called Mount St. Joseph's. So once you got one side done, just flip it over. And what they did is they had everybody's family put in a recipe into the book that they made, and then obviously donations went to the home. So that was really sweet. So I actually got this out of that book many, many years ago, and we've been making it ever since. And my kids really do love making this. I think at this point, they're 9 and 11. They can probably make this all by themselves. Okay, so a thin coat of that. Again, mine's a little bit thicker today, but that's okay. I rinse my hands off unless you have somebody else helping with the stations. We set them up like a learning stations at school. And then it's easy. You just put it in the breadcrumbs. So I take the breadcrumbs. This is where they get a little nuts sometimes. You don't need that many breadcrumbs. So I start with a little amount, okay? And remember, you already have your toothpicks in and it's already holding it together. So flatten those out, and then you just put the chicken in it and it lightly breads it. Sometimes I pick it up and do it like that. Oop, I could have used another toothpick right there. All right, so, or you can sprinkle over top of it. It's however you want to do it. But remember, it's going to stick because it has that wonderful mayonnaise to help it stick to, and it gives it a little more sauce. You can use panko as well, panko breadcrumbs, if that's your jam. I use Italian seasoned because remember, I have kids that like stuff that tastes good. Once it is all done and coated, you simply place it in the pan. All right, and the reason I use the 9x13 is because there's usually 3 or 4 chicken breasts inside the pan. Then you just simply repeat. Wash, rinse, and repeat. And it comes out wonderful. So after I'm done with this, I'm going to put saran wrap over it, put it in the refrigerator. That only took me, literally, I started this at 11:35. It's been 6 minutes. Obviously, if you have all of your ingredients out, it helps. So I will put that in the fridge until later. When I get home, I will set the temperature to 375. You're welcome to do it a little faster, a little slower, 350, 400. I make sure, this is the one tip to make sure that both sides come out like a crispy chicken. You're going to do the cooking for 40 minutes. I know that seems like a long time, but remember, it's already done. And make sure at 20 minutes in that you're using something. I just use tongs and I flip the chicken over. Because as it cooks, right, the juices of the chicken's going to come out, and it's going to help to almost kind of fry the, and help bake the breadcrumbs to make them taste crunchy. So make sure you're flipping them over. Also an option, which my family, some use and some don't. I usually use a ramekin, and then I put spaghetti sauce inside here because especially if you have kids, they're not going to know if they want it on top of the chicken or if they want it on the side. So I do it on the side. I heat up, any spaghetti sauce will do. I just do it out of a jar. Like I said, I'm not a gourmet chef. I'm just a mom. I'm a human being. So once you put that in there, just put it on the table for those, and if they do like it, then they can just pour it over top. Some of us like it in my house, and some of us do not like sauce on it. It is meant to be served with sauce over top, spread over top, nice and pretty, but that is completely up to your preference and what you enjoy. All right, so I hope that you will try out this really quick, really fun recipe. Have your little ones help you cook, and if not, you can see how fast as an adult it goes much quicker. And I hope that you will try it, and I hope that you will put some feedback on whether or not you guys, how easy it was to cook and how much your family enjoyed it, or you and just yourself enjoyed it. I absolutely love this dish. I'm not able to eat it right now, but I absolutely love it. I want to thank you for tuning in to Danielle's Don't Anything Goes, and thank you and remind you to stay kind and be sweet and to have a wonderful day. All right, everybody, I'm out. Bye-bye.